A new study out today confirms what many drivers have already suspected, maybe even goes further. We are not just the worst in Canada. Toronto has one of the worst commutes in the world. We are live over the 401 this noon hour, which can certainly be a source of constant frustration for anybody stuck in a backlog of traffic. Looks terrific there now. Not a few were caught in the morning rush hour, and we know what it's going to look like tonight, too. The report released today has found that our city has the sixth worst commute on the planet. The study compiled data from 74 cities. It cross-referenced a number of key factors, including the average commute time, time spent in traffic, wait times, and the cost of transit. It found Toronto is the worst commute in North America. It surpasses New York and Los Angeles. Rio de Janeiro was ranked the worst city for commuters in the world, followed by Bogota, Sao Paulo, and Istanbul. Drivers we spoke to today were not surprised by the findings.
I would never do the commute to Toronto because it is a crazy commute. The traffic is crazy. The highways are all congested. Even taking the GO train, it's packed. I'm grateful that I live close to where I work.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, I grew up in Toronto, but now I've lived in Hamilton for 6 years, and driving back is pretty painful.
Yeah, the commute's brutal. I do 6 hours in the winter some days.
In a statement today, Mayor John Tory committed to work on improving commutes by improving transit and cracking down on drivers who block traffic. To talk more about the study, we're joined by Ian Dobson from Strategic Regional Research Alliance. Ian, are we planning our growth in transit properly? Can you boil it down to a few items for us? What's the problem?
Ken, first of all, good to be with you. The GTA is globally one of the most attractive cities to move to. In the last 10 years, we've added over 1 million people to this region. Critical to the congestion problem is where these people are living and working today. And that shift from downtown to Toronto to the 905 is very critical to the daily lives of commuters.
You know, Ian, I wonder though about the planning of all this, the planning of our growth, the planning of the transit. I'm wondering if we failed to act properly for decades before. It seemed the mantra for years seemed to be no increase in taxes, and that also meant no increased funding for transit. And by the way, I know each city, each region has its planning. Is anybody planning the overall big picture of how we interact?
Well, I think the response of the governments in the last 10 years has been terrific. The core to good transit in a regional area is the rail corridors. It really, in other cities, for example, London, we look at the iconic tube map in London, 45% of that tube map is on the surface. What we've invested in and we're investing in now in the regional express rail is creating that foundation for people to move quickly and efficiently throughout the region. And that work is progressing. From that perspective, we're doing a great job. Where I think we need to improve is in the networks that we have today. So we have in the region 10 transit agencies. If your viewers get up in the morning and make their choice about whether they're going to take a car or transit today, for many of them that work in Markham and Richmond Hill, over 200,000, that didn't exist 30 years ago. Those people don't have many transit options, and some of them that do take transit are paying 2 fares to cross regional borders. When you get up and you choose your car, you don't even know there's a border. You don't know who owns the road. You don't know who maintains it. You have a seamless choice. Commuters, one of the work that we've been doing to understand this problem in conversations with all of our transit providers is to break those borders down, provide a convenient alternative. The second problem, and I think most of our transit agencies are doing tremendous amount of research in this area, is distributing people in dispersed areas. In the airport corporate area, in the airport itself, you've got over 40,000 people in the 2 terminals. And we need to address this problem of the region because that's where we can make the most progress today.
Ian Dobson with Strategic Regional Research Alliance. Ian, thank you. A pleasure to talk to you. Appreciate you spending the time with us.
You're welcome.